Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw tips and tricks, and I hope you can see that in your screen. It's almost like an optical illusion when you just kind of look at it. This is real easy to do. I just printed it out and it actually looks better on paper. And to draw this, it's really pretty easy. Let's take a circle. Doesn't really matter what size circle you start with. Hit P, put it in the center of the page. Control D and make a duplicate. Then holding down the Shift key, your circle will grow from the inside equally. And the reason I've already got indexing lines in the center is because I'm going to use this as a starting point. Take your 3-point curve line and go, I'm going to go outside the nodes so it won't leak. And I didn't do a very good job, so let's back up. We want to go outside the lines, and you want this equal this way, so it kind of looks equal. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to Control D and make a duplicate of that guy, and then move our center rotation to the center. Then click on it again, make sure you're in the center, and we're going to rotate that 6 degrees. And then Control D and make it another duplicate and rotate it 12 degrees. Now we're going to take the Smart Fill tool, fill it in black, and we're going to fill this in with black. Then we're going to take the Smart Fill tool and fill this in with white. That's a no-no in laser engraving, but in this case, it's going to help us. Now I'm going to come from the outside and grab both those and Control G and group them together, and then Control D to make a duplicate and take that and move it to the center. Now we've rotated it twice, and you can see I'm not in the, now I'm in the center. Now we can rotate this 12 degrees. Control D, and just do that all the way around. And you'll come out evenly. Now what I'm going to do is take this and left click or right click no outline. Then I want to Control D, well, I don't want to make a duplicate of it. I'm going to grab it all, I'm going to Control G and group it, and then I'm going to Control D, and you're going the same direction, so just hold down the Shift key, and just, you know, if you look at mine, maybe that's a little bit too far, let's make it a little bit bigger, and then Control D, and it made it too much smaller, so let's go hold down the Shift key and make it grow, and then Control D, and you can see it made it really small, so hold down the Shift, make it like that, then Control D. And because we did that, it put it probably right on top of it. See if we can't. I don't know why I can't get my pick tool back. I don't know why that's there. Let's hit delete, there we go. And then maybe let's hit the plus key on this time, holding down this Shift key, and then Control, well, just hit the plus key again, and then make the next one a little bit smaller still. I'm not holding down the Shift, as you see, and then I changed it. Now let's group all this together. Control G to group it together, and I did mine on a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So we're going to take this, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I've got the whole thing grouped, so it's going to make the whole thing smaller. And then Control D and make a duplicate. Start moving and then hold down the control button. It'll make it equal. And have it about that far apart, and then Control D again. And it would have been better to maybe nudge that over, but we're going to take this now, Control D, holding down the control button. After you start moving it, try to make it about the same distance, and then Control D again, and just move it over. If you hold down, this picture is getting in the way. It's, I've actually got a gray background on it. We need to get that one a little bit closer. It might help in this case to nudge it, and we're going to nudge this one over a little bit. Now we want them kind of equal, so let's make them equal. I didn't even do this when I made mine. Let's go to Object, Line and Distribute, open up the Docker, and let's align them equally from the center. There we go. Now we're all equal. I would Control G to group that together, Control D to group them or make a duplicate, and then just kind of offset them. Try to make them equal. Don't worry about that one's out of the page. And then you can Control G to group them, Control D to duplicate them, and let's put it just like we did the other ones, just offset a little bit. And this would be a good time to use the nudge keys. I'm just nudging it over and nudging it down. And then we'll do one more. We'll grab these, Control D, and you could probably do this mathematically, but it's good enough for this. Now what we need to do, if we're going to print this on paper, let's do this. Let's Control G to group them together and then hit P. It's going to put it in the center of the page. Then what you can do is take a rectangle, or you could actually make it the size of the page. But we'll just take the rectangle tool and go from that corner of the page down to that corner of the page, to that corner of the page. Now we need to move our rectangle out of the way for just a second, because I need to group these together for this to work. So I'm going to go Control G to group them together. I can just hit P, put it back in the center, grab all this, and I must not have them grouped together. Yeah, I've got them grouped together. I should get the weld tool. Let's move this out of the way. Let's group them. Let's make sure they're grouped together. Go to Object, Group, and they are grouped. So this should work. Hit P, put it in the center of the page, grab it all. And I do not know why there it is. There's so many things going on, and use the intersect tool. There is a lot going on, so it's going to take just a second to do it all. And what the intersect tool is cutting out all the inside parts, and then just move them out of the way. Take this one and just delete everything, and then hit P and put it in the center of the page, and then print that out on paper, and you will be amazed what it looks like in your eyes. It actually, when I first started doing it, actually like the loops are kind of looping together. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit, and thank you for watching.